This is our second Yoga for Back Pain class. So hopefully you've been doing the first one a little bit. You've started to relieve some of that stress and tension in your low back. And in this class, we're going to start building a little more flexibility. Now, you know that back pain has a lot of potential causes, and I don't know which one caused yours. But sometimes it's extra tight muscles that can cause that pain. So we're just going to start working on a little more flexibility, especially through the hips. So starting here on our backs with our feet as wide as our mat, knees up, let's place our hands on our bellies and just breathe. Slow the breath down. Feel your inhales lifting your hands. Relax into the floor and start to tune into your low back, wherever you normally feel that pain. Hopefully it's not there right now, but if it is, be aware of that. Very gently, we're going to lower both knees to one side, bring them back through the center, and lower them the other way. So just back and forth like that a few times here, windshield wipers. Again, just paying attention to your back today and how it's feeling. Remember as we go, if anything's not working, if it's causing you too much pain or discomfort, don't do that pose. Come back to another pose that felt better. That's true in any yoga class, no matter what your intention is. Nice and easy, back and forth. Breathing all the time. Good. Now lowering to one side, let's keep them there and take your top knee and slide it over that bottom leg. So your knees are now stacked, one on top of the other, just deepening that twist a little bit. Holding it here, checking that it's easy to breathe, feels good on your back. Remembering that our intention today is to release that pain, wherever it's coming from. Let's breathe it out. Every breath sends it away from us. Good. Slide that top foot back out so the feet are mat width apart again. And we'll go the other way, letting the knees come to one side, taking the top leg and placing it right on top of the bottom one. Breathing. Letting the belly expand as you inhale. Good. Bringing it back up to center, nice and easy. And then we'll place our feet a little closer together, maybe hip width apart, toes pointed forward. And with your inhale, lift your hips up off the ground, and exhale, roll the spine back down to the floor. Inhale to lift, tucking the pelvis under and lifting each vertebra one at a time, just as high as it's comfortable to go. And then exhale, roll it down. Good, keep going, a few more like this. All the while, your knees, your hips, your ankles are all staying lined up. So the entire foot is pressing down into the floor, not just the outer edge, which sometimes happens when we let our knees fall open, and not just the inner edge, which sometimes is happening if we're letting our knees come together. Keep that hip distance between the knees. Good. Building some strength in the back of the body. Now, hold it up there and lift one hip at a time. So one is coming just a little higher than the other. Good, then press them both up and roll it back down. We'll stretch the legs out on the floor. And then as you exhale, take the right one and hug it toward your chest, Pavanmuktasana. Inhale, stretch it out toward the floor again. Then exhale, left leg comes in. Inhale, stretch it out. Keep going, moving with your breath. And we're holding the hamstring here as we hug it in and bringing it just as close to your body as you comfortably can. Now, if it's more comfortable, you could put your feet on the floor and keep your knees up. So when the right leg comes in, the left knee is still up, the left foot on the floor, but that's up to you. If the leg straight is comfortable, go ahead and keep going just like this. Good, nice, slow, controlled movement that matches your slow, controlled breathing. Good, now holding the right leg in when it comes in, we'll move the left leg up so we can cross the right ankle over the left knee. And just move that knee back and forth a little bit, the right knee. So you're bringing it toward your chest and then moving it away. Bringing it toward you and moving it away. Good. And you can keep it there with the left foot on the ground, or you can pull that left foot in toward your chest, holding the left hamstring and just hugging that in to deepen that stretch in the right hip. Now your right foot is staying flexed. And we're using each exhale to move a little deeper. Staying tuned in with our backs where we usually feel that pain. Again, hopefully it's not there right now, but if it is, we're aware of it and we're taking care of it. Good, place the left foot back on the floor and rock this time a little bit, side to side. So the left knee is moving right and left, just slightly. Good, let's let that go. Take the left knee in, hug it in, and then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Again, moving the left knee so it's pointed toward your face and then pointed out toward the wall. Toward your face and out. So you're just rotating that leg from the hip, in and out. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll hug the right knee in so we can deepen that stretch. Left foot is staying flexed. We're using our breath to go deeper into it. If our bodies allow a deeper expression today, always checking first, asking with the breath, and then moving with the breath if it gives you some space. Let's let it go. Right foot to the floor, and then just rock that right foot side to side a little bit. So the right knee is kind of like it's waving in the wind a little bit, back and forth. Good. We'll let that go. Let's hug both knees in and just rock a little bit side to side, massaging out the low back. Again, breathing out any tension, any stress, any pain. Let's stretch our bodies long, feet and arms, feet on the floor, arms overhead. Really reach. And then very gently we're going to roll up. Now if this doesn't work for you, just use your hands and get yourself back to a seated position. Now we're sitting here with straight legs, arms straight out. And as we exhale, we're going to round the back and then inhale up to tall again. Not an arch, just tall. And then exhale round, really tuck the belly button in and inhale up tall. Now notice as I do this that my shoulders are staying above my hips. So I'm not really leaning way back. I'm just arching back or rounding back. My hands are staying in the same position right over my shins or over my knees. And I'm exhaling for that rounding and inhaling tall. Good, squeezing the belly button in, using that strength to come up nice and tall. Good. Release the arms. We'll tuck the left foot in. So the left foot is on the floor by the right knee. The right leg stays long. On an inhale, let's bring the arms up. Turn toward that right leg so you're square toward it. And then exhale, reach forward, leaning forward from the hip into this stretch. Now don't worry about trying to grab your feet. If you're really flexible, that might be there. So go ahead if it feels good. But otherwise, just hold your calf or place your hands on the floor. The two things we want to really feel here are that our backs are really long and straight. So we're not rounding the back to get here. We're staying very tall. And the second is that we do feel a stretch in our right hamstrings, or right behind the right leg. So we're going far enough to feel the stretch, but not so far we have to round the back. Good, let's inhale, come up, and then twist toward your left knee. So you're bringing the right hand down to the left knee, the left hand down behind you to the floor. Really gentle twist, still staying nice and tall. Breathing up as you inhale and then exhaling for a little more twist. On an inhale, we'll unwind from the belly, the chest, and then the head. And then cross that left ankle over the right knee. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointed back. And we're going to move into another hip stretch by walking the right foot in toward your body. Again, left foot stays flexed. We're sitting tall. So the spine is long. So if that means moving your right foot a little further away from your body, you can. If you want a deeper stretch, you can move it a little bit closer. Just make sure you're still sitting tall, spine is long. And head is out of the shoulders. Make sure you're not collapsing in the shoulders and letting the head sink down. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Good, let's move that right foot away again. Release the left leg and bring the soles of your feet together. Quite a distance away from your body. So your knees are a little bit bent, but not a lot. And then we're going to reach for our feet, folding over our legs here. So our knees are falling to the side a little bit, making a space for our bodies right between them. And we're taking deep breaths here, really expanding, playing with the idea of breathing into the low back. Like you could send your breath right there and let that space expand. Good, let's sit up tall again, and we'll switch legs. So the right knee is going to bend all the way. The left leg is straight. On the inhale, both arms up, and we'll exhale, fold over the left leg. Again, just reaching as far as it's comfortable to reach. The floor, your calf. Thinking about your long spine. The bend is happening from your hips, not from your waist. Nice deep breaths. The spine stays long, but we are getting that stretch in the left leg. Think about your heart going forward toward your toes rather than down onto your knee. Good. Inhale the arms up and then twist toward the right leg. So the left hand comes down to the right knee. The right hand comes to the floor behind you. Every inhale helps you grow a little taller, and every exhale helps you rotate, helps that twist. Good. Let's unwind. Bring the right leg over the left knee. Make sure the joints are above each other. And then walk that left foot in a little bit until you're feeling the stretch in the right hip. Spine is long. Breathing into the belly. Breathing into that stretch. Checking in with your body all the time, always knowing how it's feeling. Knowing if you need to make some adjustments to accommodate it. Good, let's walk that left foot back out. Bring the soles of the feet together again, slight bend in the knee and letting the knees fall open to the side. And then we'll fold forward again, over our legs. Reaching maybe for your toes, maybe for your shins. We want this to feel fairly comfortable and restful. So if that's not it, if it's not working that way for you, come out of it, make an adjustment, or just take this one off. That's okay. Nice and easy. Let's walk ourselves back up tall. And we'll fold our legs just so we can come onto our hands and knees here. And then stretch our arms forward in a kneeling downward dog. So the hips are right above the knees, hands are stretched out, but we've still got weight under our palms. So the forehead might touch the floor, it might not. You might want to bring a block under your forehead, you could do that. But we've always got a little pressure under our hands, a little bit of support there. Long spine, feel it open up. Feel space moving between your vertebrae. Good, press into your hands to come back up, nice and easy. We're going to come down onto our elbows slowly and then rest all the way down on the belly. So the hips are on the floor, belly's on the floor, and we're moving into a Sphinx pose here. So you want to think about pulling your heart forward through your shoulders. We're not just leaning up and back and crunching the low back. No, we want to think about keeping the low back really open. So to do that, we have to lengthen it first, right? So we think about moving forward before we move up into that arch. Good, nice and easy. Let it go all the way down to the floor. And we'll bring our hands to our shoulders again and press up using that tricep strength. And then we'll lift the knees, come all the way up to a downward dog. You could choose a kneeling downward dog here, or even a child's pose if that feels better. Otherwise, really building that openness in the spine, in the shoulders, the hamstrings, the calves. Fingers spread wide. Good. Let's take a big step forward with one leg so we can turn to face the side of the mat, just like we did in that first class. Our toes are pointed directly forward. They're parallel to one another. Let's inhale both arms up and exhale, fold forward. Wide leg forward fold. Bringing the hands to the floor or to a block if you wanted. And then really releasing through the head and the shoulders, letting everything hang down. And very gently, we're going to kind of shift from side to side, a really slow sway. And then walk the hands to one leg and pause here. Now our hips are staying pretty level. We're just leaning to that side, stretching toward one leg. You can hold your ankle with both hands if you want, if that feels good. If not, you might choose to keep your hands on the floor and not come quite so deep, and that's okay. Good, let's go the other way. Walk your hands to that other leg. Hands on the ankle if you want. Going as deep as it's comfortable for you. Breathing all the while. We need that air. We need that prana, the life force. Good. Hands back to center. Nice and easy. Sink down a little lower. And then slowly, through a flat back, we'll come all the way back up, reaching for the sky with the hands. And then turn toward the front of the mat and step forward with both feet. Arms are up. And then we'll exhale them over our hearts, palms together. Now we're going to work some balance and a stretch for the hips. So go ahead and pick the left leg up and cross it over the right knee. From there, we'll start to sit down into a chair pose on one leg. So this is a figure 4 balance. Now if your balance isn't quite there, let's work on that first. We've got more stretches coming for the hip. So don't worry about this stretch. If we need to focus on our balance, keep that left foot on the floor. Good, let's inhale back up nice and tall. Place the left foot down, hands over the heart, and then we'll shift our weight to the left foot, cross the right ankle over. Now again, same pose, but if our balance is a struggle today, take that right foot and just put the right toe on the floor. You could even cross it over the left foot, so the right toe is to the left of your left foot. Keeping a crouch, so we are hinging a little bit, bending, sitting back in that chair. But if you need the balance help, the toe on the floor will help a lot. Whoops, losing it a little bit. That's okay, it happens. Good, bring the right foot back down, arms up, and then exhale, dive forward, forward fold, reaching for the floor, letting go the weight of the head and the shoulders. Bend the knees here if you need to a little bit. It's a lot more intense on those hamstrings than the wide leg version. So if it's bothering your back, give it some relief by bending your knees. Good. Now we're taking a big step back with both feet, back to our downward dog. And we're going to lift the right leg up and let the knee bend behind us just a little bit, opening the hip, and then taking that knee under our bodies and placing it between our hands on the floor. Now the right foot is going to move outside the left hip. Don't let it tuck way up under you. You want to keep it out. The left leg is stretching way back. And if and when you're ready, we can move forward onto our elbows. Now I'm not letting my right hip fall all the way down to the floor. I'm trying to keep my hips pretty level, facing toward the front of my mat, toward my hands. And that's where that stretch is coming in. Taking deep breaths, and then letting gravity just sink you into the mat a little bit, really opening up that hip. This is the most intense of the hip stretches we'll do today, also the last one. So if this is too much, just go back to one of the other hip stretches we did earlier. Good, let's walk our hands back up, sit nice and tall for a moment here, and then curl the left toes under, lift back up. See if you can lift that right leg back to plank. And then we'll slide back easily to a child's pose. Taking deep breaths there, taking your knees a little bit apart if you need to make space for your rib cage or your belly. Feel your spine opening up here in this wonderful pose of healing and rejuvenation. Good, looking forward. Let's take a step forward with the right foot, coming to a low lunge. Let's bring our hands to rest on our right thigh. And as we breathe, we're just letting the hips sink down and forward, down and forward. So we're getting a deeper stretch in the front of the left leg, through the left quad and the left hip flexors. If you sit a lot, if you have an office job, this stretch is so good for you because when we're sitting, we're constantly shortening those hip flexors. And so we really want to open them up again. So this is a great place to be. Good, nice and easy. Bring the hands back to the floor. Step back with that right foot. Come back to your downward dog. Heart moving toward the knees. Spine long and open. Space between those vertebrae so they have room to move over each other. Heels moving toward the floor. Let's lift that left leg up now. The same thing on the other side. Let it bend. Let your hip open a little bit. And then take that left leg through. Place it between the hands. Taking the left foot out so it's outside the right hip. Slide the right leg back and sit tall. Supporting yourself on your hands so you're not letting the left hip fall all the way to the side, unless you happen to be that flexible. If you are, you're naturally just going to sink down and your hip will come right straight down to the floor. Good, and you can stay up or you can come down to the elbows. Deep breaths here. Doing a quick scan, just checking in with everything that's going on in your body, noticing where you feel the most stretch, how you can breathe into that stretch. Noticing any discomfort and making an adjustment for that discomfort. We should never be in pain when we do yoga. We might feel deep stretches, we might feel fatigue, but we don't want any pain. Good, let's walk it back up. Sit tall for a moment, heart up and forward, shoulders back. And then curl the right toe under. Press into the hands so you can lift with strength that left leg back. And then we'll come to a child's pose. Nice and slow. Resting the hips down on the heels. Stretching the hands forward here. Extended child's pose. Breathing into the back. Feeling it open. Feeling it relaxed. Loving it. It's done good work for us all our lives. And if it's in pain, then it's trying to tell us something. Good, let's take the step forward now with the left leg. Hands to the floor to find your balance, and then bring the hands up to rest on the left leg. Taking deep breaths and letting gravity sink you forward and down really gently, opening up the front of the right leg. Nice, easy breath. Deep breath. Hands to the floor. Let's take the big step back now. Coming up to downward dog again. Hips lifting, heels lowering. We're constantly moving and adjusting this pose to get the most out of it, to find the deepest expression of it that our bodies are capable of today. And that's all we can ask. That's perfect. Whatever that looks like today, that's where we want to be. Good, let's bring the knees down and come now to a child's pose. Extended, arms are staying out in front of us because we're going to walk them to one side. So go ahead and take them to the side until you feel a stretch down that opposite side. So if you're reaching to the right, you're going to feel your left side body really open up and stretch. So find that stretch here, still breathing deeply into the belly. Good, let's walk the hands the other way. Seek out that stretch on the other side. And then walking back to the center, let's take our arms to our sides, palms up. Coming into your most comfortable child's pose. We're going to take a couple of seconds here. So let your knees come apart a little bit if you need to. Let your head rest down to the floor or on top of your hands if it doesn't reach the mat. Focus back in on those breaths and focus back in on your back. Send it good vibrations, good positive energy, because I know that when it hurts, we get angry, we get frustrated, but that doesn't serve us because the back is just trying to tell us something. That pain is saying something's not quite right. There's too much pressure here. There's too much stress. Something went wrong. And so let's thank our backs for that message because it let us know. And now we know that we can work to correct it. And that's starting here. That's starting with that first class. That's starting with this class. That's starting with being aware of how we use our backs in our daily lives. Very gently. Let's roll up the spine again here. So we're sitting on our heels, but just for a second, we're going to bring our legs in front of us. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Sitting tall. Again, acknowledging and thanking our backs for what they do. Thanking ourselves for taking the time today to do this, to nurture and care for ourselves in this way. And let's bring our palms together over the heart. Namaste. Thanks for joining me.